Friends, fellow craftspeople, and enthusiasts of a bygone era, welcome. Step back with me, if you will, to the vibrant, industrious workshops of the 1930s. Imagine the rhythmic clang of hammer on steel, the satisfying rasp of a file, the scent of oiled wood and freshly sharpened metal hanging heavy in the air. This wasn't an age of mass-produced disposables, this was an era where the lifeblood of a project, the very essence of its creation, lay in the sharpness of the tools at hand. A sharp chisel meant a clean, precise cut in the finest mahogany. A honed plane blade ensured a flawlessly smooth surface on the most delicate joinery. A razor-sharp knife was the difference between a butcher's clumsy hack and the artistry of a skilled chef. In the 1930s, the craftsman's skill wasn't just about the final product, it was intrinsically linked to the mastery of their tools. They understood, implicitly, that a dull tool wasn't just inefficient, it was a betrayal of their craft. The quality of the work, the pride in the creation, all stemmed from the unwavering sharpness of their implements. This wasn't simply a matter of convenience, it was a reflection of a deeper cultural value. In a world before readily available replacements, maintaining and sharpening tools was a testament to resourcefulness, a symbol of enduring craftsmanship, a demonstration of respect for both the materials and the process. The tools themselves were often cherished possessions, passed down through generations, each scratch and ding a testament to their history and the skilled hands that wielded them. This manual aims to transport you back to that era, to unravel the secrets of tool sharpening as practiced by the masters of the 1930s. We'll delve into the techniques, the specific methods, the meticulous care that went into keeping those tools razor sharp. We'll explore the different types of sharpening stones, the proper angles, and the patient, almost meditative, rhythm of the process. We will uncover the subtle nuances, the little tricks of the trade, passed down through apprenticeships and whispered across workshop benches. Over the next hour and a half, we'll journey together through the world of vintage tools, rediscovering the lost art of hand sharpening and, in doing so, appreciating the enduring value of craftsmanship and the simple satisfaction of a perfectly sharpened edge. Prepare to be captivated by the precision, the dedication, and the profound connection between the craftsmen and their tools, a connection that resonates even today. Let's begin. For in the sharpening of a tool, we sharpen our own skills, our own understanding, and our own appreciation for the beauty of well-made things. And as we embark on this journey, remember this, the sharpness of the tool reflects the sharpness of the mind, and the quality of the work reflects the quality of the heart. This is more than just a how-to guide, it's a celebration of a time when craftsmanship reigned supreme. Now, let's shift our focus from the romanticism of the craftsman's workshop to the very practical, and often harsh, realities of the 1930s economy. While the pride in one's work was paramount, the economic pressures were equally significant, particularly for tradesmen whose livelihoods depended on the efficiency and effectiveness of their tools. In this era, before the widespread availability of readily replaceable tools, the cost of dull tools went far beyond the simple expense of a new blade or file. Imagine a carpenter, his chisel dulled from countless cuts. Each attempt to shape a piece of wood becomes a struggle, requiring more force, more time, and a greater expenditure of energy. The result? A less precise cut, potentially marred wood that needs further, time-consuming repair, and ultimately, a slower pace of work. This wasn't simply a matter of inconvenience. In the 1930s, time was money. A day's work lost due to inefficient tools could mean a family's meal went unbought, a bill unpaid, a crucial repair left undone. The impact extended beyond the individual craftsman. Consider a blacksmith whose hammer, worn down and dull, struggles to shape the metal. The increased effort translates to not just fatigue, but also a higher risk of accidents, potentially leading to injury and lost workdays. The resulting product might be weaker, less aesthetically pleasing, and ultimately, less valuable. The financial repercussions echoed outwards, impacting the client who commissioned the work and potentially hindering the overall productivity of the entire workshop. Furthermore, the waste of materials added another layer to the economic burden. A dull saw blade, for instance, would tear and splinter the wood, necessitating more material to compensate for the damage. This translated into higher costs for raw materials, a significant factor in an era where resources were carefully conserved and waste minimized. The economic consequences of dull tools weren't simply abstract, they were tangible, immediate, and profoundly impactful on the daily lives of working people. The economic realities of the 1930s underscored the necessity of sharp tools. It wasn't simply a matter of pride or tradition, it was a matter of survival. The investment in time and effort required for proper sharpening was a small price to pay compared to the potential losses incurred through the use of dull tools. This understanding highlights the deep connection between the practical realities of daily life and the meticulous attention to detail that defined the craftsmanship of the era. Understanding this economic context illuminates why the art of tool sharpening was not merely a skill, but a vital economic necessity. It was an investment in productivity, a safeguard against waste, and ultimately, a foundation for economic stability. The financial implications of dull tools in the 1930s were stark, and this stark reality fueled the dedication to maintaining razor-sharp implements. Now, let's delve into the heart of the sharpening process, the whetstone. These unassuming stones, often overlooked in today's world of power tools and automated sharpeners, were the cornerstone of tool maintenance in the 1930s. They were the silent partners in countless projects, the unsung heroes of countless workshops, and the key to unlocking the enduring sharpness of any blade. Whetstones, in their simplest form, are abrasive stones used to hone and refine the cutting edge of tools. In the 1930s, craftsmen typically utilized a progression of stones, each with a different grain size, to achieve the desired level of sharpness. The process often involved a coarse stone, a medium stone, and finally, a fine stone, each playing a crucial role in the sharpening sequence. Coarse stones, with their larger, more aggressive abrasive particles, were used to initially shape and repair severely damaged edges. They removed significant amounts of metal, correcting nicks, chips, and significant wear. These were often the workhorses of the sharpening process, tackling the most substantial imperfections. Medium stones, with their smaller abrasive particles, followed, refining the edge further, smoothing out any remaining irregularities left by the coarse stone. They prepared the surface for the final, meticulous stage. The fine stone, with its incredibly small abrasive particles, provided the final polish, achieving an almost razor-sharp edge. This stage wasn't simply about removing metal, it was about perfecting the geometry of the blade, ensuring a consistently sharp and even cutting edge. The transition from coarse to medium to fine was a gradual progression, each stone building upon the work of its predecessor. Whetstones themselves came in a variety of materials. Natural stones, often sourced from specific geological formations, were highly prized for their unique abrasive properties and often held a certain mystique among craftsmen. Each stone had its own character, its own feel, and its own subtle nuances in performance. Synthetic stones, while a more recent development even in the 1930s, offered a more consistent and predictable level of abrasiveness, catering to those who preferred a more standardized approach. The grain size, often measured in grit, was a critical factor. A coarser grit removed material more aggressively, while a finer grit produced a smoother, more refined edge. Understanding the relationship between grain size and the desired outcome was fundamental to the sharpening process. Choosing the right stone, and using it correctly, was the key to achieving the perfect balance between sharpness and durability. The careful selection and skillful application of whetstones weren't merely technical details, they were an integral part of the craftsman's artistry, a reflection of their experience, and their unwavering dedication to their craft. The journey from a dull, damaged edge to a razor-sharp precision instrument began, and often ended, with the humble, yet powerful, whetstone. Having established a sharp edge with the whetstones, the craftsman in the 1930s would then often turn to hones for the final refinement. Hones, typically all stones or waterstones, possessed an even finer grit than the finest whetstone, allowing for a level of polishing and edge refinement unattainable with coarser abrasives. Think of the whetstones as the sculptors, roughly shaping the edge, and the hones as the detailers, bringing out the exquisite precision and sharpness. Oilstones, as their name suggests, were used with oil as a lubricant. This oil served a dual purpose. It acted as a coolant, preventing the stone from overheating and potentially damaging the tool's edge, and it also helped to suspend the abrasive particles, ensuring a consistent and even sharpening action. The rich, dark oils, often possessing a distinctive aroma, were a common sight in the 1930s workshop, adding to the sensory experience of the sharpening process. The choice of oil was often a matter of personal preference, with some craftsmen swearing by specific oils for their lubricating and cutting properties. Waterstones, on the other hand, required water as their lubricant. The water served a similar purpose to the oil in oilstones, cooling the stone and suspending the abrasive particles. However, waterstones often had a different feel, a different texture, and a slightly different sharpening action. Some craftsmen believed that waterstones provided a more consistent and even finish, producing a particularly keen edge. The choice between oilstones and waterstones often depended on individual preference, the type of tool being sharpened, and the desired level of refinement. The use of hones represented the culmination of the sharpening process, the final step in transforming a dull, inefficient tool into a precision instrument. It was a delicate dance between the craftsman and the hone, a careful application of pressure and angle to achieve the perfect edge. This stage demanded patience, skill, and a keen eye for detail. The slightest misstep could compromise the entire process, resulting in a less effective edge. The difference between a blade sharpened solely with whetstones and one further refined with hones was often palpable. The honed edge possessed a remarkable smoothness and keenness, capable of slicing through materials with minimal effort. This subtle yet significant difference translated into increased efficiency, reduced fatigue, and a superior quality of workmanship. The honed edge was the hallmark of a skilled craftsman, a testament to their dedication and expertise. The use of hones wasn't merely a finishing touch, it was the final act of artistry, transforming a sharpened tool into a precision instrument capable of the finest work. This extra step underscored the commitment to quality and the pursuit of perfection that defined the craftsmanship of the 1930s. Even after the meticulous work with whetstones and hones, the 1930s craftsman wouldn't consider a tool truly finished without the final, almost magical, touch of the strop. Strops, typically made of leather or canvas, served as the ultimate refining agent, imparting an unparalleled level of sharpness and smoothness to the cutting edge. Imagine the strop as the jeweler's polishing cloth, taking a finely crafted piece and bringing it to an unparalleled brilliance. The strop's function wasn't to remove material, as with whetstones and hones. Instead, it acted as a highly refined polishing surface, aligning the microscopic teeth of the blade, creating a remarkably smooth and keen edge. The process involved repeatedly drawing the blade across the strop's surface, maintaining a consistent angle and pressure. This seemingly simple action, repeated with precision and patience, resulted in a dramatic improvement in the cutting performance of the tool. Leather strops were particularly favored for their ability to impart a high degree of polish and keenness. The natural texture and inherent flexibility of the leather provided an ideal surface for refining the edge. Different types of leather, with varying degrees of firmness and texture, were sometimes used for different types of tools, each offering subtle nuances in its polishing action. Canvas strops, while less common, offered a more aggressive polishing action, suitable for tools requiring a more robust finish. To further enhance the stropping process, craftsmen often used polishing compounds. These compounds, typically fine powders or pastes, were applied to the strop's surface, adding an extra layer of abrasiveness that helped to further refine the edge. The choice of polishing compound often depended on the type of tool and the desired level of polish. Some compounds were specifically designed for certain types of steel, offering optimal performance and preventing potential damage to the blade. The application of these compounds was a delicate process, requiring careful attention to detail. Too much compound could clog the pores of the strop, reducing its effectiveness, while too little would provide minimal benefit. The skilled craftsman knew precisely how much compound to use, how to distribute it evenly across the strop's surface, and how to maintain the correct pressure and angle while stropping the tool. The final result of this meticulous process was a tool of exceptional sharpness, capable of performing with unmatched precision and efficiency. The strop wasn't merely a finishing step, it was a testament to the craftsman's dedication, their patience, and their unwavering commitment to excellence. It represented the final flourish, the culmination of a process that transformed a dull tool into a precision instrument, ready to meet the demands of even the most exacting task. The keenness of the edge, honed to perfection, was a reflection of the craftsman's skill and the enduring legacy of 1930s craftsmanship. Let's now translate our knowledge into practice, focusing on sharpening a chisel, a quintessential tool of the 1930s craftsman. Remember, the key is a consistent angle throughout the entire process. This angle, typically between 25 and 30 degrees, is crucial for maintaining a strong, durable, and efficient edge. Begin with the coarsest whetstone. Place the chisel's bevel flat against the stone, maintaining that crucial angle. Using a gentle back and forth motion, work the entire bevel across the stone's surface. Apply even pressure, avoiding any sudden shifts in angle. The goal here is to remove any significant nicks or damage, preparing the bevel for further refinement. Repeat this process until the entire bevel is smooth and consistent. Next, move to the medium whetstone. Repeat the process, maintaining the same angle, but with lighter pressure. The medium stone further refines the bevel, removing any remaining irregularities left by the coarser stone. The aim is to achieve a progressively smoother surface, gradually improving the sharpness of the chisel. Take your time, patience is paramount in achieving a truly exceptional edge. Now, graduate to the finest whetstone. Again, maintain that critical angle. With the finest stone, the focus shifts from removing material to refining the edge. Use even lighter pressure, focusing on achieving a mirror-like polish on the bevel. This step lays the foundation for the remarkable sharpness that comes next. After the whetstones, it's time for the hones. Employing either an oilstone or waterstone, depending on your preference, repeat the process. The hone's finer grit refines the edge even further, adding an exquisite level of smoothness and sharpness. Remember, the lubricant, oil for oilstones and water for waterstones, is crucial for both cooling and maintaining the abrasive action. The result will be a noticeably improved sharpness. Finally, the strop. Apply a small amount of polishing compound to the leather strop. Draw the chisel's bevel across the strop's surface, maintaining the same angle you've meticulously preserved throughout. The strop's polishing action aligns the microscopic teeth of the blade, resulting in that ultimate razor-sharp edge. The smooth, almost silent glide of the chisel across the strop signals the completion of the process. With the sharpened chisel held to the light, you'll see the reflection, a testament to the precise work you've undertaken. This isn't just about sharpening a tool, it's about connecting with the meticulous craftsmanship of a bygone era. It's about understanding the value of patience, precision, and the enduring satisfaction of a job well done. This sharp chisel, a product of your dedication, is ready to meet the challenges of any task, a testament to the enduring legacy of 1930s sharpening techniques. The success of sharpening any tool, particularly a chisel, hinges on two critical factors: maintaining a consistent angle and applying even pressure throughout the process. These seemingly simple elements are the pillars of effective sharpening, the very foundation upon which a razor-sharp edge is built. In the 1930s, a craftsman's reputation rested on his ability to master these techniques. The angle, typically between 25 and 30 degrees for chisels, dictates the strength and durability of the cutting edge. Too shallow an angle results in a weak, easily damaged edge, while too steep an angle creates a chisel that's difficult to control and less efficient in its cutting action. Consistency is key. Even a slight deviation from the chosen angle throughout the sharpening process can compromise the final result. Imagine the blade as a delicate balance, a perfect harmony between strength and sharpness. The angle is the architect of this balance, carefully shaping the edge to perform optimally. The 1930s craftsmen knew this instinctively. Their years of experience had ingrained the correct angle into their very movements. To ensure accuracy, consider using a protractor or a specialized sharpening gauge. These tools provide a visual reference, helping you maintain the chosen angle throughout the sharpening process. Position the chisel against the gauge, checking the angle before each stroke. This simple step eliminates guesswork, ensuring consistency and precision. Even pressure is equally important. Applying uneven pressure can lead to irregularities in the bevel, creating weak points and compromising the overall sharpness. Imagine the sharpening stone as a canvas, and your chisel as the brush. The goal is to create a smooth, consistent stroke, applying even pressure across the entire bevel. Avoid pressing harder in one area than another, as this will result in an uneven edge. The pressure should be firm but not forceful. Think of it as a controlled, deliberate movement, a dance between the chisel and the sharpening stone. This controlled approach ensures that the stone's abrasive action is consistent across the entire bevel, creating a uniform and exceptionally sharp edge. The 1930s craftsmen understood this delicate balance. Their hands, guided by years of experience, applied just the right amount of pressure, creating edges of exceptional quality. Mastering angle and pressure is not just about sharpening a tool, it's about understanding the principles of material science, the delicate balance between strength and sharpness. It's about connecting with the precision and dedication of the 1930s craftsmen, whose skill and patience produced tools of exceptional quality. And it's about the satisfaction of creating something exceptional with your own hands. With the bevel meticulously shaped on the whetstones, we now move to the honing stage. This critical step uses an aural stone or water stone to refine the edge further, creating an almost imperceptible smoothness that's crucial for exceptional sharpness. Remember to lubricate the hone appropriately, oil for oil stones, water for water stones, to prevent overheating and maintain the abrasive action. Employ the same consistent angle you maintain throughout the whetstone process. Use a light touch, the goal is refinement, not aggressive reshaping. The strokes should be smooth and deliberate, resulting in a noticeably smoother, sharper edge. The final stage, stropping, elevates the chisel's sharpness to an almost ethereal level. Using a leather strop, preferably one with a smooth, polished surface, apply a small amount of honing compound. This compound, often a fine abrasive paste, polishes the edge, aligning the microscopic teeth of the blade. Draw the chisel's bevel across the strop, maintaining that crucial angle, using a consistent, even pressure. The sound will change, becoming almost silent as the edge reaches its peak. This final touch gives the chisel an unparalleled smoothness and sharpness. Imagine the satisfying whisper of a perfectly honed blade gliding across wood, the very essence of a 1930s craftsman's pride. How do you know when your chisel is truly sharp? There are several telltale signs. First, the edge should be uniformly smooth and polished, reflecting light evenly along its length. Second, the edge should feel incredibly sharp to the touch, yet not brittle. A truly sharp chisel will effortlessly shave a thin piece of wood or even a hair from your arm. Proceed with caution. Finally, and perhaps the most rewarding sign, is the ease with which the chisel cuts. A properly sharpened chisel will glide through wood with minimal effort, effortlessly splitting fibers and producing clean, precise cuts. The difference is palpable. The ease and precision are a testament to the skill and dedication invested in the sharpening process. The 1930s craftsmen understood the importance of honing and stropping. These techniques weren't merely finishing touches, they were essential elements in creating tools capable of withstanding the rigors of daily use. The resulting sharpness wasn't just about efficiency, it was a reflection of the craftsman's pride and dedication to their craft. It was a testament to the quality and resilience of their tools, and to the skill that brought them to life. The refined edge, polished to perfection, is a tangible representation of the enduring legacy of 1930s sharpening techniques. The plain blade, a cornerstone of woodworking in the 1930s, demands a meticulous sharpening process, a testament to the era's dedication to precision and quality. Before we even begin the sharpening, a careful assessment of the blade's condition is paramount. This isn't merely a cursory glance, it's a detailed inspection that informs every subsequent step. Hold the blade up to the light, examine its surface for nicks, chips, or significant damage. Run your fingertip gently along the edge, feel for irregularities or significant dullness. The 1930s craftsmen understood this. A thorough assessment was the first step towards restoring the blade's potential. The level of damage dictates the initial approach. Minor dullness requires a less aggressive approach, while severely damaged blades necessitate a more involved process. This initial assessment informs our choice of whetstone. The 1930s workshop boasted a variety of whetstones, each with a different grit, graded from coarse to fine. The selection of the correct whetstone is crucial. Using too coarse a stone on a mildly dull blade can lead to unnecessary material loss, while using too fine a stone on a severely damaged blade will prove ineffective. For a blade with only minor dullness, a medium grit whetstone is typically sufficient. This stone, with its moderate abrasiveness, will quickly hone the edge without significant material removal. However, for a blade with larger nicks or significant damage, a coarser stone is needed. This coarser stone will remove the imperfections, preparing the blade for subsequent refinement on finer stones. Picture the craftsman carefully selecting his stone, his experienced hands evaluating the blade's condition, his choice guided by years of accumulated wisdom and practice. The selection isn't simply a matter of grit, it also considers the material of the blade itself. Different blade materials react differently to various abrasives. A softer blade might require a gentler approach, a finer grit, to avoid excessive wear. A harder blade, on the other hand, can tolerate a coarser stone without damage. The 1930s craftsman was intimately familiar with the characteristics of his tools, understanding the nuances of material and the precise application of force. Once the appropriate whetstone is selected, prepare the stone according to its requirements. Some stones require soaking in water, while others benefit from the addition of oil. This crucial step ensures the stone functions optimally, providing the necessary lubrication and abrasive action. The preparation of the stone is a ritualistic act, a careful attention to detail that sets the stage for the meticulous work to come. It's a practice that connects us to the methods and dedication of the 1930s craftsman. The meticulous preparation of both the blade and the stone are the foundation of the sharpening process. With the right stone chosen and prepared, we are ready to begin the crucial first steps towards restoring our plain blade to its former glory. Now, with our whetstone selected and prepared, we embark on the crucial task of reshaping the plain blade's edge. Remember, the goal is to establish a consistent bevel, the foundation upon which ultimate sharpness will be built. The angle of this bevel is critical. A common angle for plain blades is around 25 degrees, though this can vary slightly depending on the plane's intended use. Maintaining this consistent angle throughout the sharpening process is paramount for achieving a strong, effective edge. Begin by placing the whetstone firmly on a stable surface. Hold the plain blade at the chosen angle, ensuring a consistent, even pressure is applied throughout the stroke. Start with the back of the blade, carefully laying it flat against the stone. This initial pass is about establishing a consistent contact point, preparing the blade for the more aggressive sharpening to follow. The sound of the blade against the stone provides valuable feedback. A consistent, even sound indicates even pressure and contact. Now, we move to the bevel. With the blade held at the correct angle, begin making smooth, deliberate strokes across the whetstone. The pressure should be firm yet controlled, avoiding excessive force which can damage the blade. Each stroke should be even and consistent, ensuring the entire bevel is engaged with the stone. Visualize the 1930s craftsman, his movements precise and deliberate, years of practice honed into an almost effortless grace. The rhythm of the strokes, the feel of the blade against the stone, all contribute to the creation of a perfectly formed bevel. For significantly damaged blades, multiple passes may be necessary. As the blade is sharpened, you'll notice the removal of material, the edge will become smoother, and the imperfections will gradually disappear. It is a process of controlled abrasion, a sculpting of metal, transforming a damaged blade into a sharp, efficient tool. Patience is key. Rushing this process can lead to an uneven bevel, ultimately compromising the blade's performance. Take your time, maintain consistency, and allow the whetstone to do its work. As the bevel begins to take shape, you might notice a burr forming on the opposite side of the blade. This burr is a thin, raised edge of metal, a testament to the effective removal of material. Don't worry about the burr at this stage, it will be removed in the subsequent honing process. The focus for now is on achieving a consistent, well-defined bevel, the groundwork for a razor-sharp plain blade, reflecting the meticulous methods of the 1930s craftsman. Remember, this is not a race, it is a process requiring precision and attention to detail. Each stroke brings the blade closer to perfection, a reflection of your dedication and skill. With the bevel established on our plain blade, we move to the next stage, honing. This process refines the edge, removing the burr and achieving an even sharper, smoother surface. For honing, we typically use an auralstone or a waterstone, materials chosen for their fine grit and ability to polish the blade's edge to a remarkable degree. The 1930s craftsman understood the importance of this step. Honing transformed a merely sharp blade into a truly exceptional cutting instrument. Similar to the whetstone process, maintain a consistent angle, the same 25-degree angle we established earlier. However, the pressure applied during honing is lighter, more delicate. The focus here isn't on removing significant material, rather, it's about refining the edge, smoothing out any irregularities, and achieving a mirror-like finish. The stroke should be long, smooth, and even, ensuring the entire bevel is polished uniformly. Listen to the subtle sound of the blade against the stone. It should be a quiet whisper, a stark contrast to the more pronounced sound of the whetstone. As you hone the blade, you'll notice the burr gradually disappear. This indicates that the edge is becoming increasingly refined and even. Continue honing until the entire bevel feels perfectly smooth, almost polished. This process requires patience and a gentle touch. Rushing can lead to an uneven edge, negating the benefits of the previous steps. Picture the 1930s craftsman, his focus unwavering, his movements precise and deliberate, transforming a functional tool into a work of art. The final step in achieving a truly exceptional edge is stropping. Stropping uses a strop, typically a piece of leather, to further refine the edge and impart an almost razor-sharp quality. Before stropping, apply a small amount of stropping compound to the leather. This compound acts as a polishing agent, enhancing the smoothness and sharpness of the blade. The stropping process is similar to honing, but the pressure is even lighter, the movements even smoother. Hold the blade at a low angle, approximately 10 to 15 degrees, and make long, even strokes across the strop. The goal is not to sharpen the blade further, but to polish it to a mirror-like finish. The stropping process imparts a microscopic level of refinement, enhancing the edge's ability to slice cleanly and easily through wood. With each stroke, the blade becomes smoother, sharper, and more refined, a testament to your patience and the effectiveness of this time-honored technique. The resulting edge, honed and stropped to perfection, reflects the dedication and skill of the 1930s craftsman, a legacy we carry forward. Now, let's turn our attention to the humble knife, a tool as ubiquitous in the 1930s workshop as it is in our kitchens today. Sharpening a knife effectively is more than just making it sharp, it's about preserving its integrity and ensuring a long lifespan. The techniques are similar to those we've explored for planes and chisels, but with some crucial nuances. The first step, as always, is assessment. Examine your knife carefully. Note the condition of the blade. Is it dull, chipped, or significantly damaged? This assessment dictates the approach we take, whether it's a quick touch-up or a more involved sharpening process. Just like the 1930s craftsman, we begin with observation, understanding the unique needs of each tool. For basic knife sharpening, we'll primarily utilize whetstones, progressing from coarser grits to finer ones. The angle of the blade is crucial. A common angle for many knives is around 20 degrees, though this varies depending on the knife's type and intended use. Maintaining this angle consistently throughout the sharpening process is essential for creating a strong, even edge. Hold the knife firmly, but not rigidly. Apply even, consistent pressure as you draw the blade across the whetstone. Imagine the 1930s craftsman, his movements honed by years of practice, his touch both firm and delicate. The strokes should be smooth and deliberate, avoiding jerky movements that can damage the blade or create an uneven edge. The sound of the blade against the stone provides valuable feedback. A consistent, even sound indicates proper technique. Remember, patience is key. Sharpening a knife is not a quick process, it requires time and attention to detail. Each stroke removes a small amount of material, gradually shaping and refining the blade's edge. As you progress through the different grits of whetstones, the edge will become progressively smoother and sharper. Observe the blade carefully. The goal is to create a consistent bevel along the entire length of the cutting edge. Pay attention to the subtle changes in the blade's reflection as it becomes progressively smoother, reflecting the light with a growing intensity. Once the initial sharpening is complete, you can further refine the edge using a honing steel or a fine grit oilstone. This process removes any remaining burrs and imparts an even finer edge. Finally, stropping with leather and a suitable polishing compound will give your knife that extra touch of smoothness and sharpness, reflecting the pride and precision of the 1930s artisan. A well-sharpened knife is not just a tool, it's an extension of your skill and craftsmanship. While the fundamental principles of knife sharpening remain consistent, the specifics can vary considerably depending on the type of knife and its material. The 1930s kitchen, much like today's, boasted a variety of knives, each designed for a specific task and demanding its own approach to sharpening. Let's delve into these variations, ensuring we treat each blade with the respect it deserves. The chef's knife, the workhorse of any kitchen, typically features a long, broad blade with a gently curved edge. Its versatility requires a robust sharpening technique, often involving a combination of whetstones with varying grits. Maintaining a consistent angle, usually between 15 and 20 degrees, is critical for achieving a sharp, durable edge. Remember the 1930s cook, expertly wielding their chef's knife, its sharpness a testament to their dedication to maintaining their tools. Paring knives, smaller and more delicate, demand a gentler approach. Their smaller size makes them more susceptible to damage, so using finer grits of whetstones is crucial. The angle remains important, typically around 15 degrees, ensuring a sharp point without compromising the blade's integrity. Picture the careful precision of the 1930s housewife, using a paring knife for intricate tasks, its sharpness reflecting her careful maintenance. Butcher knives, designed for heavier tasks like cleaving meat, often feature thicker blades and require a more aggressive sharpening technique. While the fundamental principles remain the same, the process may involve more passes on coarser whetstones to remove significant material. The 1930s butcher, wielding their substantial knife with expertise, relied on a sharp blade for efficiency and precision, a skill honed over years of practice. The material of the blade also plays a crucial role. Carbon steel knives, prized for their exceptional sharpness and durability, respond well to traditional whetstone sharpening. However, they require a bit more care to avoid damage. Stainless steel knives, while less prone to corrosion, may require more passes on the whetstone to achieve the same level of sharpness. Understanding these material differences allows for a more tailored and effective sharpening process. Finally, consider the style of the knife's edge. A straight edge, common in many knives, requires a consistent sharpening angle along the entire length. A serrated edge, on the other hand, presents a unique challenge. Serrated edges are best maintained by using a specialized serrated knife sharpener or by carefully honing the individual serrations with a small, fine-grit file. Failing to account for the different styles can lead to damage or ineffective sharpening. The 1930s craftsmen knew the nuances of each tool, adapting their technique to achieve optimal results. Understanding these variations will elevate your sharpening skills, enabling you to maintain a collection of sharp, effective knives, just as the 1930s artisans did. Even with the meticulous sharpening techniques we've discussed, your tools will eventually lose their razor-sharp edge through regular use. This isn't a sign of failure, it's a natural consequence of the friction involved in cutting, shaping, and planing. However, the 1930s craftsmen knew that regular maintenance could significantly extend the time between full sharpening sessions, saving both time and effort. This is where honing comes in, a crucial step in preserving sharpness. Honing isn't a replacement for sharpening, it's a preventative measure. While sharpening removes material from the blade to create a new, sharp edge, honing realigns the microscopic teeth along the existing edge, straightening them out and restoring some of the lost sharpness. Think of it as a quick tune-up for your tools, keeping them performing at their best between major overhauls. The most common honing tool in a 1930s workshop would have been a honing steel, a slender rod of hardened steel. This steel, often with a finely ridged surface, is used to gently stroke the blade, realigning its edge. The angle is crucial. Generally, it should mirror the angle at which you originally sharpened the tool. Holding the tool firmly, draw the blade smoothly along the steel, repeating the process on both sides. The sound should be a gentle whisper, not a harsh scraping, indicating a correct and controlled movement. The frequency of honing depends on the tool and its use. A frequently used chef's knife might benefit from daily honing, while less frequently used tools may only need occasional attention. Observe your tools carefully. If they feel less sharp than usual, or if the edge seems to be catching or dragging, it's time for a honing session. This regular maintenance is a testament to the 1930s ethos of careful preservation and efficient work practices. The skilled craftsman knew that a little preventative maintenance could save significant time and effort in the long run. Beyond honing steels, other methods were employed. Some craftsmen used smooth, hard stones, like wool stones or water stones, for a finer honing process. These provided a gentler touch, particularly suited for delicate tools or for refining the edge after using a honing steel. The choice of honing method depended on the specific tool and the craftsman's preference, but the overall goal remained the same: to maintain sharpness and extend the time between more intensive sharpening procedures. By incorporating regular honing into your tool maintenance routine, you'll not only prolong the life of your tools but also improve your overall workflow. A consistently sharp tool cuts cleaner, more efficiently, and requires less effort from the user. Remember, the 1930s craftsmen valued efficiency and precision. Honing is a testament to that value, ensuring that your tools are always ready to perform at their peak. This attention to detail mirrors the dedication and pride of the 1930s artisans who valued their tools as much as their skills. The tools you use to sharpen your tools are just as valuable, and require just as much care, as the tools themselves. Proper storage and maintenance of your whetstones, hones, and strops will ensure their longevity and effectiveness, mirroring the careful practices of the 1930s craftsmen. Neglecting these essential steps can lead to damage, reduced performance, and ultimately, a frustrating sharpening experience. Whetstones, the foundation of any sharpening process, are porous and can absorb water or oil, depending on their type. After use, thoroughly clean your whetstones with a soft brush or cloth, removing any metal particles or debris. For wheelstones, a light application of oil will help preserve their surface and prevent cracking. Waterstones, on the other hand, should be thoroughly rinsed and allowed to air dry. Store your whetstones in a dry, safe place, preferably in a protective case or wrapped in a soft cloth to prevent damage or chipping. Think of the 1930s workshop, where tools were meticulously cleaned and stored, reflecting a deep respect for their craftsmanship and value. Honing steels and other honing tools also require attention. After each use, wipe them clean with a soft cloth to remove any metal residue. Regular inspection for any signs of damage or wear is also essential. These tools, often made of hardened steel, are durable but not indestructible. Proper care will extend their lifespan considerably. The 1930s craftsmen understood the importance of a well-maintained honing steel, knowing that a sharp tool is only as good as the instrument used to maintain its edge. Stropping, the final step in the sharpening process, utilizes leather strops often treated with a polishing compound. After using a strop, clean it thoroughly to remove any residue from the blade. Periodically, condition your leather strop with a leather conditioner to keep it supple and prevent cracking. Store your strop in a dry place, away from excessive heat or moisture. The 1930s artisan appreciated the subtle nuances of stropping, understanding that a well-maintained strop contributed significantly to the final polish and sharpness of the blade. The careful storage and maintenance of your sharpening tools are not merely an afterthought, they are integral to the entire sharpening process. By following these simple steps, you'll ensure that your sharpening tools remain effective, preserving their performance and extending their lifespan. This attention to detail, characteristic of the 1930s craftsman, translates to a more efficient and rewarding sharpening experience, ensuring that your tools are always ready to perform at their best. Remember, preserving your sharpening tools is an investment in your craft, reflecting the values of precision, care, and longevity that defined the skilled artisans of the 1930s. Even with diligent practice, achieving consistently sharp edges requires understanding potential pitfalls. A dull edge, frustrating as it may be, often points to correctable errors in technique or tool maintenance. Let's delve into common causes of dullness and their solutions, drawing on the wisdom of 1930s artisans who faced and overcame these same challenges. One frequent culprit is an inconsistent sharpening angle. Remember, maintaining a consistent angle throughout the sharpening process is paramount. Varying the angle, even slightly, creates an uneven edge, resulting in dull spots and reduced cutting efficiency. To rectify this, use a sharpening guide or consistently check your angle using a protractor or angle gauge. Practice maintaining a consistent angle on a scrap piece of metal before attempting to sharpen a valuable tool. Patience and precision are key, echoing the meticulous methods of the 1930s craftsman. Uneven pressure during sharpening can also lead to dullness. Applying too much pressure can damage the whetstone or even deform the blade. Too little pressure, on the other hand, results in insufficient material removal. The 1930s craftsman used a controlled, even pressure, letting the abrasive do the work. Practice applying gentle, consistent pressure throughout the sharpening process. Listen to the sound of your tool on the stone. A consistent, even sound indicates correct pressure. A grinding or screeching sound signals excessive pressure. Damaged or worn whetstones can dramatically impact your sharpening results. A clogged or pitted whetstone won't effectively remove material from the blade, leaving it dull. Regular cleaning and maintenance are essential. Check your whetstones for any significant damage or wear. If the surface is severely damaged or uneven, you may need to replace it. The 1930s craftsmen understood the importance of maintaining their sharpening tools, recognizing that a worn stone would produce inferior results. Investing in high-quality stones and maintaining them properly will yield significant rewards. Another factor to consider is the type of steel used in your tools. Different steels require different sharpening techniques. Harder steels require more patience and potentially finer abrasives. Softer steels may be more susceptible to damage with excessive pressure. Understanding the characteristics of your tool steel will guide your sharpening technique. The 1930s craftsmen often knew the source and characteristics of the steel they worked with, tailoring their sharpening methods accordingly. Finally, remember that honing and stropping are crucial steps in the sharpening process. While sharpening creates a new edge, honing realigns the microscopic teeth, and stropping polishes it to a razor-sharp finish. Neglecting these steps will result in a less effective edge, even after careful sharpening. Each step plays a vital role in achieving the ultimate sharpness. The 1930s craftsmen understood the importance of each step, achieving an exceptional level of sharpness through diligent and precise work. By addressing these common causes of dull edges, you'll significantly improve your sharpening skills and the performance of your tools. Remember, patience and practice are essential. The 1930s craftsmen understood this well, mastering their craft through dedication and persistence. With careful attention to technique and tool maintenance, you too can achieve the razor-sharp edges characteristic of the finest hand-tooled work. A chipped edge is a disheartening setback, interrupting the smooth flow of your work and potentially damaging the tool itself. Unlike simple dullness, a chipped edge represents a more significant problem, often requiring more involved repair or mitigation techniques. Understanding the causes and implementing effective solutions is crucial for maintaining your tool's integrity. Let's explore the common causes of chipped edges and the methods employed by 1930s craftsmen to address this issue. One frequent cause of chipped edges is improper sharpening technique. Applying excessive pressure, especially on coarse stones, can easily chip the delicate edge of a tool. Similarly, using too coarse a stone for the task at hand can lead to aggressive material removal, increasing the risk of chipping, particularly on harder steels. The 1930s craftsmen, through years of experience, understood the delicate balance between aggressive material removal and the preservation of the edge. They employed a measured approach, starting with finer stones when dealing with more delicate tools. Another common cause is using a tool beyond its intended purpose or capacity. Forcing a tool to perform a task beyond its capabilities can easily lead to damage, including chipping. This highlights the importance of using the right tool for the job, a principle deeply ingrained in the 1930s work ethic. Selecting the appropriately sized and designed tool for a task minimizes the risk of damage and ensures efficiency. Impact damage, such as dropping the tool or striking it against a hard surface, is another potential culprit. Even a seemingly minor impact can lead to a significant chip, compromising the integrity of the edge. Care and attention to the handling and storage of your tools are paramount in preventing such damage. The 1930s craftsmen understood the value of their tools, meticulously storing and handling them to avoid accidental damage. Repairing a chipped edge often requires a careful and methodical approach. For minor chips, you might be able to carefully remove the damaged portion using a very fine whetstone, gradually working to restore a smooth, even edge. However, for more significant chips, professional sharpening might be necessary. In some cases, the damage may be irreparable, requiring replacement of the tool. Prevention is always the best approach. By employing proper sharpening techniques, using the right tool for the job, and handling your tools with care, you can significantly minimize the risk of chipped edges. Remember, the 1930s craftsmen valued their tools, understanding that their longevity and effectiveness were directly related to their careful handling and maintenance. By adopting this mindset, you can ensure your tools remain sharp and functional for years to come. The preservation of your tools, through diligent care and proper technique, is an investment in the quality of your craftsmanship. An unevenly sharpened tool is a frustrating impediment, leading to inconsistent cuts and reduced efficiency. Unlike a uniformly dull tool, an unevenly sharpened one presents a more complex challenge, requiring careful attention to detail and a methodical approach to correction. Let's explore the common causes of uneven sharpening and the techniques employed by 1930s craftsmen to achieve a consistently sharp edge along the entire length of the tool. One primary cause of uneven sharpening is inconsistent angle maintenance. Even slight variations in the angle during the sharpening process can result in sections of the edge being sharper than others. The 1930s craftsmen often used jigs or guides to help maintain a consistent angle, ensuring uniformity across the entire blade. Consider using a sharpening guide or regularly checking your angle using a protractor or angle gauge. Practice maintaining a consistent angle on a scrap piece of metal before attempting to sharpen a valuable tool. Another contributing factor is uneven pressure application. Applying more pressure to one area of the blade than another will lead to uneven material removal, resulting in an uneven edge. The 1930s craftsmen employed a controlled, even pressure throughout the sharpening process, relying on the abrasive's properties to do the work. Practice applying gentle, consistent pressure, letting the abrasive do the work. Listen to the sound of your tool on the stone. A consistent, even sound indicates correct pressure. Using a worn or damaged whetstone can also contribute to uneven sharpening. A stone with uneven wear or embedded particles will not remove material consistently, leading to an uneven edge. Regular cleaning and maintenance of your whetstones are crucial. Check your whetstones for any significant damage or wear. If the surface is severely damaged or uneven, you may need to replace it. The 1930s craftsmen understood the importance of maintaining their sharpening tools, recognizing that a worn stone would produce inferior results. The type of steel also plays a role. Harder steels require more patience and potentially finer abrasives, while softer steels may be more susceptible to damage with excessive pressure. Understanding the characteristics of your tool steel will guide your sharpening technique. The 1930s craftsmen often knew the source and characteristics of the steel they worked with, tailoring their sharpening methods accordingly. Correcting uneven sharpening often involves a combination of techniques. You may need to carefully resharpen the less sharp sections, paying close attention to maintaining a consistent angle and pressure. Using progressively finer stones will help refine the edge and create a smooth, even finish. For significant unevenness, professional sharpening may be necessary. Prevention is key. By maintaining a consistent sharpening angle, applying even pressure, and using well-maintained whetstones, you can minimize the risk of uneven sharpening. Remember, the 1930s craftsmen achieved consistent sharpness through practice and attention to detail. By adopting their meticulous approach, you too can achieve consistently sharp edges across your tools. Sharpening tools, while a rewarding skill, demands a mindful approach to safety. The 1930s craftsmen understood this implicitly, weaving safety into every aspect of their craft. Neglecting safety precautions can lead to serious injuries, undermining the very craft you're striving to master. Let's delve into the essential safety measures to ensure your well-being while honing your sharpening skills. The most fundamental safety precaution is the consistent use of safety glasses. These aren't merely a suggestion, they're an absolute necessity. Sharpening generates microscopic metal particles that can easily launch into the air, posing a significant risk to your eyes. Even seemingly minor particles can cause severe irritation or damage. The 1930s craftsmen, working often in less than ideal lighting conditions, understood the importance of protecting their eyes, and you should too. Ensure your safety glasses are properly fitted and offer adequate protection. maintaining a firm grip on your tools is crucial. A slip, even a momentary one, can have serious consequences. The sharp edges of your tools, coupled with the force involved in sharpening, can inflict significant cuts or injuries. Keep your workspace clean and free from obstructions. Use a vise or clamp to secure your tool whenever possible, leaving your hands free to focus on the sharpening process. The 1930s craftsman prized precision and control, understanding that a steady hand was paramount to both quality and safety. Avoid distractions at all costs. Sharpening demands full concentration. A momentary lapse in attention can lead to a serious accident. Turn off your radio, silence your phone, and let others know you need uninterrupted time. Create a dedicated workspace free from interruptions. The focused concentration of the 1930s craftsman is a valuable lesson for us today. A distraction-free environment is essential for both safety and quality craftsmanship. Proper ventilation is also important. Sharpening generates fine metal particles and dust. Inhaling these particles can be detrimental to your respiratory health. Ensure your workspace is well ventilated or use a dust mask to protect your lungs. The 1930s craftsmen often worked in open-air workshops or with natural ventilation, minimizing the risk of inhaling harmful particles. Regularly inspect your tools and sharpening equipment for any damage or wear. Damaged equipment can increase the risk of accidents. Replace worn or damaged components immediately. The 1930s craftsmen understood the importance of regular tool maintenance, ensuring both efficiency and safety. Proactive maintenance is an investment in your safety and the longevity of your tools. Remember, safety is not merely an afterthought, it's an integral part of the sharpening process. By prioritizing safety and consistently employing these precautions, you can enjoy the satisfaction of sharpening your tools without compromising your well-being. The legacy of the 1930s craftsmen lies not just in their skill but also in their dedication to safe practices. Emulate their wisdom, and your sharpening journey will be both productive and safe. The 1930s workshop hummed with the rhythmic rasp of steel against stone, a testament to the craftsman's understanding of their tools. But not all steel is created equal. The varied hardness and composition of different steel tools demand a nuanced approach to sharpening. Let's explore the specific considerations for sharpening various steel tools, drawing upon the wisdom of those skilled artisans of yesteryear. Chisels, with their robust construction and varied uses, often require a more aggressive sharpening approach. High-carbon steel chisels, prized for their hardness and edge retention, benefit from a coarser grit whetstone initially, followed by finer stones to refine the edge. Maintaining the correct bevel angle is crucial for optimal performance. The 1930s craftsmen often used a honing guide to ensure a precise and consistent angle, a technique that remains relevant today. Remember to use a lighter touch on softer steel chisels to prevent damage. Planes, with their delicate blades designed for smooth, even shavings, require a more refined approach. The thinness of the plane blade necessitates careful attention to avoid rounding or damaging the edge. Start with a finer grit whetstone, progressing to progressively finer stones. The final honing on a smooth oil stone or water stone should be done with a feather-light touch, focusing on creating a razor-sharp edge. The 1930s craftsmen valued a perfectly honed plane blade for its ability to produce flawless surfaces. Knives, whether for woodworking or other tasks, present a unique set of challenges. The diversity in knife blade shapes and intended uses dictates the sharpening technique. A chef's knife, with its broad blade, might require a more aggressive initial sharpening, while a paring knife's delicate edge necessitates a gentler approach. Regardless of the knife type, maintaining a consistent angle and employing light, even strokes are vital. The 1930s craftsmen appreciated the versatility of the knife and adapted their sharpening techniques accordingly. Beyond the tool type, the composition of the steel itself influences the sharpening process. High-carbon steel, known for its hardness and durability, requires more effort and attention to sharpen effectively. Softer steels, while easier to sharpen, tend to dull more quickly. Understanding the type of steel in your tools allows you to adapt your technique for optimal results. The 1930s craftsmen often had a deep knowledge of the steel they worked with, passing down this knowledge through generations. The 1930s craftsmen didn't just sharpen tools, they understood the interplay between steel, stone, and skill. By paying attention to the specific characteristics of each tool and its steel composition, you too can achieve the same level of precision and sharpness. Remember, patient and meticulous sharpening is key to unlocking the full potential of your tools, a skill that transcends generations. The rhythmic scrape of a gouge against wood, the whisper-smooth glide of a spokeshave, these are the sounds of woodworking at its finest. But these tools, like all others, demand sharp edges to perform their magic. Sharpening woodworking tools presents unique challenges, owing to their specialized shapes and the exacting demands of woodworking. Let's delve into the art of sharpening these essential tools, drawing upon the techniques of the skilled 1930s craftsman. Gouges, with their curved blades, require a different approach than flat-bladed tools. Maintaining a consistent bevel angle along the entire curve is paramount. Using a honing guide designed for gouges can significantly aid in achieving this. Start with coarser stones to establish the initial bevel, then progress to finer stones to refine the edge. The 1930s craftsmen often used a combination of whetstones and oilstones, meticulously honing the gouge to a razor-sharp edge. Remember to maintain a light touch, especially on the finer stones, to avoid rounding the edge. Spokeshaves, with their delicate blades, demand a precise and gentle touch. Their thin blades are easily damaged, so starting with a fine grit whetstone is crucial. Focus on achieving a smooth, even bevel, paying close attention to maintaining a consistent angle throughout the sharpening process. The 1930s craftsmen often used a strop with polishing compound for the final refinement, achieving a mirror-like finish that enhanced the spokeshave's performance. For both gouges and spokeshaves, the sharpening process should be repeated frequently, especially during periods of intensive use. Regular sharpening ensures the tools maintain their efficiency and prevents the need for more aggressive sharpening later on, which can risk damaging the blade. The 1930s craftsmen understood the importance of regular maintenance, prioritizing the preservation of their tools. Beyond gouges and spokeshaves, other woodworking tools like carving tools, mortise chisels, and turning tools each require specific sharpening techniques, often involving specialized sharpening stones and jigs. The 1930s craftsmen often had a collection of stones tailored to the specific needs of each tool. Researching the proper techniques for each specific tool is highly recommended to ensure you achieve the best results. Remember, sharpening woodworking tools is not just about achieving a sharp edge, it's about understanding the nuances of each tool and adapting your technique accordingly. The 1930s craftsman's approach was one of patience, precision, and a deep respect for their tools. By emulating their dedication and skill, you can unlock the full potential of your woodworking tools, creating projects of lasting quality and beauty. The mastery of this skill will elevate your woodworking to a new level of precision and artistry. The 1930s craftsmen understood that not all steel is created equal. The hardness of the steel, a crucial factor often overlooked today, directly impacts the sharpening process. Different steel grades require different approaches, a knowledge that was fundamental to the success of the era's skilled artisans. Let's explore how the hardness of various steel grades influences sharpening techniques and abrasive selection. High-carbon steel, prized for its exceptional hardness and edge retention, presents a challenge. Its resilience means it resists sharpening, requiring more aggressive abrasives and greater effort. Starting with a coarse whetstone to establish the bevel is essential. Progressing through progressively finer grits, to medium and then fine, refines the edge. The final honing on an oilstone or waterstone requires patience and a light touch to avoid damage. The 1930s craftsmen often spent considerable time honing high-carbon steel tools, understanding that the effort was repaid tenfold in the tool's longevity and performance. Medium carbon steel, a more common grade in the 1930s, offers a balance between hardness and ease of sharpening. It's less resistant to abrasion than high-carbon steel, allowing for a quicker sharpening process. While a coarse whetstone might still be used initially, the transition to finer grits can happen more rapidly. The final honing on a fine oilstone or waterstone produces a sharp, durable edge without the same level of effort required for high-carbon steel. The 1930s craftsmen often used this grade for tools that required frequent sharpening. Low-carbon steel, softer than its high and medium carbon counterparts, is easily sharpened but also prone to dulling quickly. This steel grade necessitates a more delicate approach. Starting with a fine whetstone and progressing to very fine stones minimizes the risk of damage. Over-sharpening should be avoided, as it can quickly lead to rounding the edge. The 1930s craftsmen often reserved low-carbon steel for tools where ease of sharpening was prioritized over edge retention. Beyond the grade of steel, factors such as the tool's intended use and the craftsman's experience also influenced the choice of abrasives. A wood-carving tool, for instance, might require a finer edge than a heavy-duty chisel. The 1930s craftsmen possessed an intuitive understanding of these nuances, adapting their techniques to each specific tool and its intended purpose. Understanding the properties of various steel grades and their influence on sharpening is crucial for achieving optimal results. Just as the 1930s craftsmen valued this knowledge, so too should the modern craftsman. The ability to choose the right abrasive and apply the appropriate technique will significantly impact the longevity and performance of your tools. Mastering this skill elevates the craft of sharpening from a simple task to a refined art form. Having honed your tools to a keen edge using whetstones and oilstones, we now venture into the realm of advanced techniques, exploring the art of honing compounds for an unparalleled level of refinement. The 1930s craftsmen, ever striving for perfection, often employed these fine abrasives to achieve a mirror-like polish and exceptional sharpness. Let's unlock this secret to achieving a truly exceptional edge. Honing compounds, typically available in paste or liquid form, are extremely fine abrasives that impart a superior polish to the tool's edge. They are applied to a strop, a leather or canvas belt, and used in the final stage of sharpening, after the initial shaping and honing have been completed. This process removes microscopic imperfections left behind by coarser abrasives, resulting in an exceptionally smooth and sharp edge. The choice of honing compound depends on the desired level of polish and the type of tool being sharpened. For example, a finer compound might be used for delicate woodworking tools like carving knives or spokeshaves, while a slightly coarser compound might be suitable for heavier-duty tools like chisels or plain blades. The 1930s craftsmen often experimented with different compounds, developing a personal preference based on experience and the specific demands of their work. Applying the honing compound to the strop requires a light touch. Too much compound can clog the strop's surface, hindering its effectiveness. A small amount, carefully applied and evenly distributed, is all that's needed. The tool is then drawn across the strop, maintaining a consistent angle and even pressure. The 1930s craftsmen often used a specific number of strokes, developed over years of practice, to achieve the desired level of polish. The process of stropping with honing compound refines the edge at a microscopic level, removing burrs and imperfections invisible to the naked eye. This results in an edge that is not only sharp but also exceptionally smooth, allowing for a cleaner, more precise cut. The enhanced smoothness reduces friction, improving the tool's performance and extending its life. Different honing compounds offer varying levels of abrasiveness, ranging from extremely fine to ultra-fine. The 1930s craftsmen often kept a selection of compounds, allowing them to fine-tune the edge to meet the specific requirements of each task. This is a testament to their dedication to achieving the highest standards of craftsmanship. Mastering the use of honing compounds is a significant step towards becoming a truly skilled sharpener. It's a technique that requires practice and patience, but the rewards are well worth the effort. The resulting razor-sharp edge will transform your work, allowing you to achieve precision and control that were the hallmark of the 1930s craftsman. Embrace this advanced technique and elevate your sharpening skills to a new level. Now, let's delve into an advanced sharpening technique that elevates the sharpness and durability of your tools to a new level, the creation of micro-bevels. This refined method, though not explicitly documented in many 1930s texts, was undoubtedly employed by the most skilled artisans of the era, who intuitively understood its benefits. Let's explore how this technique enhances your tool's performance. A micro-bevel is a secondary, extremely small bevel created on the very edge of your tool's primary bevel. Imagine it as a tiny, almost invisible layer added to the already sharpened edge. This seemingly minor addition significantly impacts the tool's performance and longevity. The primary benefit of a micro bevel lies in its ability to enhance sharpness. By creating this minute bevel, you're essentially creating a sharper, more acute cutting edge. This results in a cleaner, more precise cut, particularly beneficial for delicate work. The 1930s craftsman, working with a variety of materials, would have appreciated the control offered by this technique. Moreover, a micro bevel significantly increases the tool's durability. The primary bevel, being larger, takes the brunt of the wear and tear during use. The micro bevel acts as a sacrificial layer, protecting the primary bevel from damage. This means that when the micro bevel dulls, it can be easily resharpened without significantly altering the primary bevel, extending the tool's overall lifespan. This was a crucial aspect for the 1930s craftsmen, who valued tool longevity. Creating a micro bevel requires a keen eye and a delicate touch. It's typically achieved using extremely fine abrasives, such as a very fine honing stone or a strop with a honing compound. The angle of the micro bevel should be slightly less acute than the primary bevel, typically around 1 to 2 degrees. This subtle difference is critical for achieving the desired effect. The process involves carefully honing the edge on the chosen abrasive, focusing on the very edge of the primary bevel. The pressure should be exceptionally light, and the strokes should be smooth and consistent. Patience is key, as creating a micro bevel requires meticulous attention to detail. The 1930s craftsman, accustomed to careful, deliberate work, would have found this process quite natural. The result of this careful work is a tool with exceptional sharpness and durability. The micro bevel provides a razor-sharp cutting edge while protecting the primary bevel from premature wear. It's a technique worthy of the most skilled artisans, a testament to the pursuit of excellence in craftsmanship. By mastering the art of micro bevels, you'll elevate your sharpening skills to the next level, mirroring the precision and expertise of the 1930s craftsman. Throughout this exploration of 1930s tool sharpening techniques, a recurring theme emerges: the paramount importance of patience. Mastering this craft isn't a sprint, it's a marathon of meticulous practice, demanding dedication and a willingness to embrace the learning curve. The skilled artisans of the 1930s understood this implicitly, honing their skills over years of dedicated work. Unlike the instant gratification of modern tools, hand sharpening requires a deliberate, measured approach. Each stroke on the whetstone, each pass across the aural stone, contributes to the final result. Rushing the process invariably leads to uneven edges, dull tools, and potentially damaged equipment. Patience allows for the careful refinement of the blade, ensuring a superior, long-lasting edge. The initial stages, particularly the shaping of the bevel, can be time-consuming. Removing material gradually, ensuring a consistent angle and pressure, demands patience and focus. The temptation to rush, to force the process, must be resisted. Remember the 1930s craftsmen, taking their time, working deliberately, knowing the reward for patience would be a beautifully sharpened tool. As you progress to finer abrasives, the need for patience intensifies. The subtle refinements achieved with honing stones and stropping compounds require a delicate touch and unwavering consistency. Each stroke must be deliberate, each movement precise. This is where the true mastery of the craft lies, in the ability to feel the subtle changes in the edge, adjusting pressure and angle as needed. Furthermore, the art of sharpening is a continuous learning process. Every tool presents unique challenges, demanding a nuanced approach. Different steels respond differently to various abrasives, and the intended use of the tool influences the desired edge profile. Experimentation, observation, and a willingness to learn from mistakes are essential components of the journey. The 1930s craftsman understood that continuous refinement of technique was key. Finally, remember that perfection is not achieved overnight. There will be moments of frustration, instances where the edge doesn't turn out quite as expected. These are opportunities for learning, for refining your technique, and for deepening your understanding of the craft. Persistence, coupled with patience, will ultimately lead to mastery. Embrace the process, celebrate the small victories, and remember the legacy of the 1930s craftsman, a legacy built on patience and precision. The rewards of a perfectly sharpened tool are well worth the time and effort invested. Now that we've covered the fundamentals, let's put our knowledge into practice with some focused exercises using chisels. Chisels, with their versatile applications in woodworking, provide an excellent platform for honing your sharpening skills. Remember, the 1930s craftsman valued practical application above all else. Begin with a selection of chisels exhibiting varying degrees of dullness. This allows you to practice the entire sharpening process, from aggressive reshaping on coarser stones to the delicate refinement achieved with finer abrasives and stropping. Choose chisels of different sizes and widths to build versatility in your technique. Your first exercise focuses on establishing a consistent bevel angle. Select a chisel with a noticeably dull edge and a coarse whetstone. Maintain a consistent angle throughout the process, using a honing guide if needed. Focus on even pressure and smooth, deliberate strokes. Regularly inspect your progress, ensuring the bevel is even and free of any irregularities. This step mirrors the careful approach of the 1930s craftsman, prioritizing precision. Once you've established the primary bevel, progress to finer whetstones, gradually refining the edge. Pay close attention to the feel of the chisel against the stone. As the edge sharpens, you'll notice a distinct change in resistance. This tactile feedback is crucial in gauging the sharpening progress and preventing over-sharpening. This is where the experience of a 1930s craftsman would truly shine through. Next, incorporate honing stones into your process. Use light pressure and smooth strokes to further refine the edge. Pay particular attention to the micro bevel, if you choose to create one. Remember the gentle touch required for this delicate stage, ensuring a razor-sharp, durable edge. The 1930s craftsman would have understood the importance of this final refinement. Finally, finish with stropping. This step polishes the edge to a mirror-like finish, enhancing sharpness and durability. Use a smooth, consistent motion, ensuring even pressure across the entire length of the blade. Regularly inspect your progress, and adjust your technique as needed. The end result should be a chisel capable of effortlessly slicing through wood. Repeat this process with your other chisels, focusing on consistency and precision. The more you practice, the more intuitive the process will become. Remember, the 1930s craftsmen didn't achieve mastery overnight. They honed their skills through years of dedicated practice. Through consistent practice, you'll develop a keen understanding of the nuances of hand sharpening, transforming the process from a tedious chore into a satisfying craft. The ability to confidently sharpen your chisels will be a valuable skill, adding a touch of 1930s craftsmanship to your work. Having honed your skills on chisels, let's now tackle the slightly more challenging task of sharpening plain blades. Plain blades, crucial for creating flawlessly smooth surfaces, demand precision and a keen understanding of angle maintenance. The 1930s woodworker understood this implicitly, treating their plain blades with the utmost care. Begin by selecting a plain blade exhibiting a dull edge. Unlike chisels, plain blades often require more aggressive reshaping, especially if they're significantly dull. Start with a coarse whetstone, focusing on establishing a consistent bevel angle, typically between 25 and 30 degrees, across the entire length of the blade. This is paramount for consistent planing action. The slightest deviation will result in uneven shavings and a less than perfect surface finish. The 1930s craftsman would have understood this principle perfectly. Maintaining a consistent angle throughout the sharpening process is crucial. This requires a steady hand, controlled pressure, and a keen eye for detail. Using a honing guide can be beneficial, particularly for beginners, ensuring accuracy and consistency. However, even with a guide, regular visual checks are essential to prevent any unintentional deviations. As you progress to finer whetstones, the process becomes more refined. The goal here is to remove any remaining imperfections and create a smooth, even bevel. Pay close attention to the subtle changes in the blade's feel against the stone. This tactile feedback is crucial in guiding your sharpening progress and preventing over-sharpening. The 1930s woodworker relied heavily on this sensory feedback, a testament to their intimate understanding of their tools. Once you've achieved a sharp primary bevel, you can opt for a micro bevel, as discussed earlier. This secondary bevel, though nearly invisible, significantly enhances both sharpness and durability, acting as a sacrificial layer. Remember to maintain the consistent angle established during the primary beveling. The 1930s craftsmen often utilized micro-beveling for increased longevity of their plane blades. Finally, strop the blade to achieve a mirror-like polish. This final step dramatically increases the smoothness and sharpness of the edge, producing the finest shavings possible. Use a smooth, consistent motion, ensuring even pressure across the entire blade length. A well-stropped plane blade is a joy to use, producing surfaces of exceptional quality. Remember, mastering plane blade sharpening is a journey of consistent practice. The reward, however, is well worth the effort. A sharply honed plane blade will glide through wood with ease, significantly improving the quality of your woodworking projects. Embrace the process, learn from each sharpening session, and strive for that flawless, mirror-like edge that would have made a 1930s craftsman proud. Now, let's turn our attention to knives, a diverse category demanding a nuanced approach to sharpening. The 1930s kitchen, workshop, and even outdoors relied heavily on sharp knives, a testament to their importance in everyday life. We'll explore how to adapt our sharpening techniques to various knife types and blade materials. First, consider the knife's intended use. A chef's knife, for example, requires a different sharpening approach than a paring knife or a hunting knife. Chef's knives, with their broad blades, benefit from a slightly more obtuse bevel angle for durability, while paring knives, used for more delicate tasks, can tolerate a sharper, more acute angle. The 1930s cook understood this implicit connection between tool and task. Next, consider the blade material. High-carbon steel knives, prized for their edge retention, require a slightly different approach than softer steels. High-carbon steel, though harder, can be more prone to chipping if not handled carefully. Softer steels, while easier to sharpen, may require more frequent sharpening. The 1930s craftsman would have selected his knives based on both material and intended use. Begin by assessing the knife's current condition. If the blade is significantly dull, start with a coarse whetstone to establish the primary bevel. Gradually progress to finer stones, refining the edge until it's razor sharp. Remember to maintain a consistent angle throughout the process, paying close attention to the blade's geometry. A consistent angle is crucial for a consistent cut. For knives with complex blade shapes, such as those with a recurve or a hollow grind, you may need to employ different sharpening techniques. A flexible honing rod can be particularly useful for maintaining the edge of curved blades. The 1930s craftsmen developed unique techniques for various knife types, demonstrating an intimate understanding of their tools. After sharpening on whetstones, use honing compounds or stropping to further refine the edge. This step adds the final touch of sharpness and smoothness, resulting in a knife that slices effortlessly through various materials. The 1930s craftsmen would often meticulously strop their knives for optimal performance. Remember, patience and practice are key to mastering knife sharpening. Experiment with different techniques and blade angles to find what works best for you. Pay attention to the feel of the blade against the stone and the appearance of the sharpened edge. The 1930s craftsman was a master of observation, constantly refining their techniques based on experience. Through diligent practice, you'll develop the skills necessary to keep your knives razor sharp, enhancing both your culinary and crafting abilities. You'll also appreciate the enduring value of well-maintained tools, a principle deeply ingrained in the 1930s ethos. By mastering this skill, you'll not only sharpen your knives but also your understanding of time-honored craftsmanship. As you embark on your journey of mastering 1930s style tool sharpening, regular assessment is crucial for continuous improvement. The craftsmen of that era understood the importance of evaluating their work, constantly refining their technique through observation and practice. Let's explore how to effectively assess your sharpening progress. The simplest test is the paper test. Gently draw the sharpened edge across a piece of paper. A truly sharp tool should effortlessly slice through the paper without tearing or resistance. If the edge catches or tears the paper, it indicates that further sharpening is required. This simple test, easily performed, provides valuable feedback. For chisels and plane blades, examine the shavings produced during use. A sharp tool will produce thin, consistent shavings, indicating a clean, even cut. Thick, uneven shavings suggest that the edge needs further refinement. The 1930s woodworker would scrutinize his shavings, judging the quality of his tools based on their performance. Visual inspection is also important. Examine the sharpened edge under good lighting. A well-sharpened tool will exhibit a clean, burr-free bevel with a distinct, sharp edge. Any irregularities, burrs, or unevenness suggest areas that need attention. A magnifying glass can help in identifying subtle imperfections. For knives, the onion test is a classic indicator of sharpness. A sharp knife should effortlessly slice through an onion without crushing or tearing it. If the knife struggles, it's a clear indication that further honing is needed. This test not only assesses sharpness but also demonstrates the knife's ability to cleanly cut various materials. Don't be discouraged by initial imperfections. Sharpening is a skill that improves with practice. Each sharpening session provides an opportunity to learn and refine your technique. Pay close attention to the feel of the tool against the whetstone and the sound it makes during sharpening. These subtle cues provide valuable feedback. If you consistently struggle with achieving a razor-sharp edge, consider revisiting the fundamentals. Ensure that you're using the correct sharpening angle, applying consistent pressure, and progressing through the different grits of whetstones systematically. Refer back to the earlier sections of this guide for a refresher. Remember, the goal is not just to achieve a sharp edge, but to develop a consistent, repeatable process. With regular practice and careful assessment, you'll progressively hone your skills, creating a razor-sharp edge worthy of a 1930s craftsman. Embrace the journey, celebrate your progress, and never stop learning. Even seasoned sharpeners occasionally encounter pitfalls. Understanding common mistakes and their solutions is crucial for continuous improvement. Let's delve into some frequent errors, learning from the experiences of past generations of craftsmen. One prevalent mistake is inconsistency in the sharpening angle. Maintaining a consistent angle throughout the process is paramount for creating a uniform bevel. Varying the angle results in an uneven edge, hindering sharpness and potentially damaging the tool. Remember, practice makes perfect. Strive for consistency. Another common error is applying excessive pressure. While firm pressure is necessary, excessive force can damage the edge, leading to chipping or dulling. Gentle, controlled pressure is more effective, allowing the abrasive to do its work. The 1930s craftsmen knew the value of controlled pressure, learned through years of experience. Ignoring the importance of progressively finer grits is another frequent mistake. Jumping directly to a fine stone without establishing a primary bevel on a coarser stone can result in a dull edge. The gradual progression allows for efficient shaping and refinement. Patience is key, mirroring the deliberate approach of the 1930s artisan. Failing to strop the tool after sharpening is a common oversight. Stropping polishes the edge, enhancing its sharpness and smoothness. Skipping this crucial step diminishes the overall effectiveness of the sharpening process. This final step was never overlooked by the 1930s craftsmen, who valued a finely honed edge. Using dull or damaged whetstones can also significantly impact the results. Dull stones are less effective, requiring more effort and potentially damaging the tool. Regularly inspect your stones and replace them when necessary. The 1930s craftsman carefully maintained his tools, appreciating their importance. Improper cleaning and storage are often overlooked. Cleaning your tools and stones after each use prevents the accumulation of debris, ensuring optimal performance. Storing tools in a dry, safe place prevents rust and damage. Proper maintenance extends the life of your tools. Finally, rushing the process is a common mistake. Sharpening takes time and patience. Taking shortcuts often leads to suboptimal results. Embrace the process, focusing on precision and technique, mirroring the deliberate approach of the 1930s craftsman. By avoiding these common mistakes and embracing patience, you'll refine your skills and achieve superior results. While whetstones, hones, and strops form the cornerstone of 1930s style tool sharpening, a world of specialized tools and techniques awaits the dedicated craftsman. These advanced methods, though not essential for beginners, offer refined control and precision for those seeking to master the art. Let's explore some of these specialized tools. The Arkansas stone, renowned for its fine grit and ability to produce an exceptionally keen edge, was a favorite among discerning 1930s artisans. Its unique properties allowed for a level of refinement beyond standard whetstones. Learning to use an Arkansas stone requires patience and a light touch. Another specialized tool is the honing guide. This device ensures consistent angle maintenance, particularly beneficial for plain blades and chisels. By eliminating the need for manual angle control, the honing guide allows the craftsman to focus on pressure and stroke consistency. The 1930s saw the development of various honing guides, each with unique features. For particularly delicate tasks or intricate tool shapes, the use of a small, handheld sharpening steel becomes invaluable. These steels, often made of hardened steel or ceramic, offer a quick and efficient way to touch up an edge between major sharpening sessions. They were essential for maintaining the sharpness of fine knives and delicate tools. Beyond the tools themselves, advanced techniques such as freehand sharpening without a guide demand significant skill and practice. This method, favored by experienced craftsmen, allows for unparalleled control and adaptability. Mastering this technique requires a deep understanding of tool geometry and sharpening principles. Furthermore, the choice of abrasive compounds can significantly impact the sharpening process. While whetstones provide a consistent abrasive surface, specialized diamond pastes and polishing compounds offer finer control for extremely fine sharpening and polishing. These were used for specialized finishing techniques. Finally, understanding the different types of steel and their respective sharpening requirements is crucial. High-carbon steels require different techniques compared to softer steels, and the choice of abrasive and technique should be tailored accordingly. The 1930s craftsman understood these nuances, adapting his approach based on the material. Exploring these specialized tools and techniques will elevate your sharpening skills to a new level. Remember, mastering the basics is essential before venturing into these more advanced areas, but the reward for your dedication will be tools with razor-sharp edges, honed to perfection. The journey to mastering 1930s tool sharpening techniques isn't merely about honing steel, it's about cultivating a deeper appreciation for craftsmanship and the profound impact sharp tools have on the quality of your work. The rewards extend far beyond the gleaming edge itself. Imagine the effortless glide of a perfectly sharpened plane across wood, the clean, precise cut of a chisel, or the satisfying ease of slicing through vegetables with a razor-sharp knife. These are not just tools, they are extensions of your skill, transforming potential into reality. Sharp tools significantly enhance efficiency. A dull tool requires significantly more effort, leading to fatigue and frustration. The extra force needed can also lead to uneven cuts, inaccurate work, and ultimately, a less satisfying result. In contrast, a sharp tool effortlessly performs its task, allowing you to work faster and more efficiently, completing projects with ease. Precision is another key benefit. A sharp tool allows for greater accuracy and control, enabling you to execute intricate details and create work of exceptional quality. Fine details are effortlessly achieved, bringing your vision to life with clarity. The precision afforded by sharp tools is unmatched. Furthermore, the satisfaction derived from using sharp tools is immeasurable. The smooth, controlled cuts, the clean shavings, and the flawless results all contribute to a sense of accomplishment and pride in your work. This intrinsic satisfaction is a reward in itself, a testament to the dedication and skill invested in honing your tools. Think of the 1930s craftsman, taking pride in his perfectly sharpened tools, knowing they were instrumental in creating beautiful, lasting pieces of work. That same sense of satisfaction awaits you as you master this art. Beyond the immediate benefits, mastering this skill fosters a deeper respect for the tools and materials you work with. It's a connection to a richer tradition of craftsmanship, echoing the practices and pride of artisans from a bygone era. The quality of your work will reflect this newfound skill, producing results that are both beautiful and enduring. The rewards extend beyond the mere act of sharpening, they resonate throughout your entire creative process, enhancing efficiency, precision, and the overall satisfaction of creating quality work. Embrace the journey, and reap the rewards of sharp tools. The art of sharpening, like any craft, demands consistent practice and a commitment to continuous learning. Mastering 1930s sharpening techniques isn't a destination, it's an ongoing journey of refinement and discovery. Think of the skilled artisans of that era, constantly honing their skills alongside their tools. Regular practice is key. Don't just sharpen your tools when they're desperately dull, make it a habit. Regular honing and stropping will extend the life of your tools and maintain their peak performance. Dedicate time each week, or even daily, to practicing your technique, even if your tools don't require a full sharpening. Experiment with different stones, angles, and pressures. Each tool, each material, will present its own unique challenges and rewards. Observe the subtle differences in how various abrasives interact with the steel. Note the feel of the stone against the metal, the sound of the honing, and the visual changes in the bevel. These are all crucial elements of the learning process. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every imperfection is a learning opportunity. Analyze what went wrong, adjust your technique, and try again. The path to mastery is paved with these small failures, each one leading you closer to perfection. Remember, even the most experienced craftsmen continue to learn and refine their techniques. Seek out further resources. Explore books, articles, and videos on sharpening techniques. Engage with other enthusiasts and craftsmen, share your experiences, ask questions, and learn from their expertise. The wealth of knowledge available is vast and constantly expanding. Observe experienced sharpeners. If possible, watch a skilled craftsman demonstrate their techniques. Observe their hand movements, their approach to angle control, and their attention to detail. Learning through observation is an invaluable method for refining your skills. This was how knowledge was passed down through generations in the 1930s. Consider joining a woodworking or metalworking club or community. These spaces offer opportunities for collaboration, learning, and sharing experiences. You can learn from others and contribute your own knowledge. The collective wisdom of a community greatly accelerates the learning process. Continuously refine your assessment techniques. Regularly examine the sharpness of your tools using various methods. Strive for consistent results and adapt your approach as needed. The pursuit of perfection is a continuous process, not a final destination. Maintaining and improving your sharpening skills is an ongoing process, a commitment to continuous learning and refinement. Embrace this journey, and you will reap the rewards of consistently sharp, high-performing tools, a testament to your dedication and skill. Your journey into the world of 1930s tool sharpening doesn't end here. The techniques and knowledge shared are a foundation upon which you can build a lifetime of skill and craftsmanship. To further expand your expertise, I encourage you to explore the wealth of resources available. First, delve into the rich history of tool sharpening. Research the methods and materials used by craftsmen in the 1930s. Explore vintage woodworking and metalworking manuals. These often contain invaluable insights into the techniques of the time. Many are available online or in antique bookstores, offering a fascinating glimpse into the past. These resources provide a unique perspective, revealing the evolution of sharpening practices and the wisdom passed down through generations. Seek out specialized books and articles dedicated to sharpening. Many modern publications cover various sharpening techniques, often incorporating historical methods. These resources can provide detailed instructions, illustrations, and insights into the nuances of sharpening different types of tools and materials. Pay attention to those focusing on specific tool types, as techniques may vary considerably. Online resources are a treasure trove of information. Numerous websites, forums, and videos offer detailed instructions, demonstrations, and discussions on sharpening techniques. Engage with online communities dedicated to woodworking, metalworking, and knife making. These communities are a great place to ask questions, share experiences, and learn from others' expertise. The collective knowledge available online is vast and ever-growing. Consider attending workshops or classes on sharpening. Hands-on learning is invaluable, providing the opportunity to receive personalized instruction and immediate feedback. Many woodworking and metalworking schools offer courses specifically dedicated to sharpening, allowing you to refine your techniques under the guidance of experienced instructors. This is an excellent way to accelerate your learning and receive direct guidance on your personal approach. Don't neglect the importance of experimentation. As you explore different resources, experiment with various techniques and materials. Develop your own approach, adapting methods to suit your preferences and the specific tools you use. Your unique experience will inform your sharpening style and contribute to your personal mastery of the craft. By continuing to learn and experiment, you will not only refine your sharpening skills but also deepen your appreciation for the artistry and precision involved in creating and maintaining sharp tools. Remember, this is a continuous journey of refinement, a lifelong pursuit of excellence. Embrace the opportunity to grow your skills and contribute to the rich legacy of craftsmanship. Throughout this journey into the world of 1930s tool sharpening, we've explored a timeless craft, a skill passed down through generations of dedicated artisans. We've uncovered the secrets to achieving razor-sharp edges, not just through mechanical precision, but through a deep understanding of materials, angles, and the subtle interplay between human skill and finely honed tools. Remember the importance of progressive sharpening, starting with coarser stones to shape the bevel, gradually moving to finer grits for refinement. Each stage is crucial, contributing to the overall sharpness and longevity of your tools. The careful selection of abrasives and the consistent maintenance of the correct angle are paramount. This process, while seemingly simple, demands patience, precision, and a keen eye for detail. Honing and stropping, the final steps in the sharpening process, are not mere afterthoughts but essential components that bring the edge to its peak performance. Honing realigns the microscopic teeth of the blade, extending its sharpness, while stropping polishes it to a mirror-like finish, reducing friction and improving cutting efficiency. These subtle refinements, often overlooked, contribute significantly to the quality of your work. Beyond the technical aspects, we've emphasized the importance of consistent practice. Mastering 1930s tool sharpening is an ongoing process, a journey of continuous learning and refinement. It requires patience, dedication, and a willingness to experiment. Each sharpening session is a chance to hone not just your tools but also your skills. The satisfaction derived from using impeccably sharp tools is unparalleled. It's the difference between a frustrating struggle and effortless precision. It's the difference between a mediocre result and a masterpiece. This is the legacy of the 1930s sharpening techniques, a commitment to quality, a celebration of craftsmanship, and an appreciation for the enduring value of hand skills. More than just a practical skill, sharpening tools connects us to a rich history of craftsmanship. It's a tradition that transcends generations, a testament to the enduring value of patience, precision, and attention to detail. By mastering these techniques, you not only enhance your own work but also contribute to the preservation of a valuable legacy. The enduring value of these 1930s methods lies not only in their effectiveness but also in the mindfulness and connection they foster between the craftsman and their tools. It's a practice that encourages a deeper appreciation for the materials we use and the objects we create. It's a reminder of a time when quality, durability, and craftsmanship were paramount. So, as you continue your journey in sharpening, remember the principles we've discussed. Embrace the process, celebrate the progress, and appreciate the legacy of skill and precision that you are now a part of. The sharp tools you create will be a testament to your dedication, a tangible reflection of your mastery, and a link to a rich and enduring tradition of craftsmanship. There's a unique satisfaction, a deep sense of accomplishment, that comes from mastering the art of tool sharpening. It's more than just a practical skill, it's a connection to a rich history of craftsmanship, a tradition passed down through generations of skilled artisans. Imagine the pride felt by a blacksmith in the 1930s, meticulously honing his tools, each stroke reflecting years of experience and dedication. That same pride is available to you. The process itself is meditative, a quiet dance between the hands and the tool. The rhythmic swish of the whetstone, the subtle pressure applied, the gradual refinement of the edge, these are the elements of a ritual, a testament to patience and precision. It's a far cry from the impersonal efficiency of modern mass production. This is a craft where the human touch is essential, where the skill of the craftsman is directly reflected in the quality of the tool. As you hone your skills, you'll develop an intuitive understanding of your tools, a connection that transcends mere functionality. You'll learn to recognize the subtle nuances of each blade, to feel the edge, to anticipate its needs. This intimate relationship is central to the craftsman's pride. It's a bond forged through hours of practice, through the careful observation of the tool's response, and through the constant refinement of technique. The tools themselves become extensions of your hands, responsive to your will. They become instruments not just of labor, but of creation, capable of transforming raw materials into works of art. This feeling of control, of mastery over your tools, is a source of immense satisfaction. It's a feeling that resonates deeply with the spirit of the 1930s craftsman, a time when skill and dedication were highly valued. But the pride extends beyond the individual. By mastering these traditional sharpening techniques, you become part of a larger narrative, a continuing legacy of craftsmanship. You're carrying the torch, preserving a skill that might otherwise be lost to the march of progress. You're connecting with a history of skilled hands, of innovative minds, of individuals who poured their hearts and souls into their work. And the results are tangible. The smooth, effortless glide of a perfectly sharpened plane across wood, the clean, precise cut of a razor-sharp chisel, the satisfying heft of a perfectly balanced knife, these are all testaments to your skill and dedication. These are the tangible rewards of mastering this art, a palpable manifestation of your pride and craftsmanship. This isn't just about sharpening tools, it's about cultivating a mindset, a philosophy of craftsmanship that emphasizes quality, precision, and a deep respect for the materials and the process. It's a journey of continuous learning, of refining your skills, and of nurturing your connection to a rich and enduring heritage. Embrace the pride, embrace the process, and embrace the legacy of the craftsman. While modern technology offers a plethora of power tools and automated sharpening systems, the fundamental principles of sharpening remain unchanged. The 1930s methods, with their emphasis on patience, precision, and a deep understanding of the materials involved, still hold immense relevance in today's world. Consider the efficiency of electric sharpeners. They can quickly achieve a sharp edge, but often at the cost of precision and control. The speed and convenience offered by modern methods are undeniable, but they often lack the nuanced control and tactile feedback that are hallmarks of traditional sharpening. The 1930s techniques, relying on the craftsman's skill and feel, allow for a level of customization and refinement that automated systems simply cannot match. This nuanced control is crucial for fine woodworking, intricate metalwork, and any task demanding exceptional precision. The traditional approach fosters a deeper connection between the craftsman and their tools. The rhythmic process of sharpening, the feel of the whetstone against the steel, the gradual refinement of the edge, these are tactile experiences that enhance understanding and skill. Modern methods, while efficient, often distance the craftsman from the intimate process of shaping the tool's edge. Furthermore, the 1930s methods offer a level of sustainability often absent in modern, disposable approaches. The investment in quality whetstones is a long-term investment in your craft, unlike the potentially short-lived effectiveness of some electric sharpeners or disposable sharpening tools. The traditional method promotes tool longevity, encouraging care and respect for the instruments of your trade. However, this is not to suggest that modern techniques are entirely without merit. Modern abrasives often offer enhanced consistency and durability, and power tools can assist in initial shaping or the removal of significant damage. The key lies in recognizing the strengths of both approaches and integrating them intelligently. The enduring relevance of 1930s sharpening methods lies in their ability to cultivate skill, precision, and a deep understanding of the materials and tools. These skills are transferable and valuable, regardless of the specific tools you choose to use. Mastering these traditional techniques enhances your understanding of the sharpening process itself, regardless of whether you are utilizing traditional or modern tools. It's a foundation upon which you can build a lifetime of craftsmanship. The combination of traditional skill and modern tools provides the most versatile and effective approach to tool sharpening in the modern world. The art of sharpening tools, honed over centuries, is a treasure worth preserving. It's more than just a skill, it's a connection to history, a testament to human ingenuity, and a foundation for countless crafts. The meticulous techniques passed down from generation to generation represent a legacy of craftsmanship that deserves to be cherished and protected from the erosion of time and the allure of fleeting technological advancements. To lose this knowledge would be to lose a vital part of our cultural heritage. The importance of preserving and passing on these traditional skills cannot be overstated. It's about more than simply maintaining a historical practice, it's about nurturing a mindset, a philosophy of craftsmanship that values patience, precision, and a deep respect for materials. These are qualities that are increasingly rare in our fast-paced, technologically driven world, yet they are fundamental to creating high-quality, enduring work. Consider the impact on future generations. By preserving these traditional methods, we equip young craftspeople with a deeper understanding of their tools and materials, fostering a more profound connection to their craft. This knowledge base isn't limited to just tool sharpening, it extends to a broader understanding of materials science, engineering principles, and the intricate relationship between hand and tool. It cultivates a respect for the processes involved in creating something lasting and beautiful. Passing on these skills isn't solely the responsibility of experienced craftspeople, it's a collective endeavor that requires a concerted effort from individuals, organizations, and educational institutions. Workshops, apprenticeships, online tutorials, and community classes all play a crucial role in disseminating this knowledge and ensuring its continuity. Sharing knowledge through these mediums makes these skills accessible to a wider audience, thereby expanding the pool of skilled artisans. The preservation of traditional tool sharpening isn't merely about nostalgia, it's about equipping future generations with skills that are both timeless and valuable. These methods offer a level of control, precision, and understanding that surpasses many modern alternatives. The ability to hone a tool to its peak performance is a skill that transcends technological advancements and remains essential for any craftsman seeking excellence. The act of preserving this craft is also an act of safeguarding a vital part of our collective heritage. Therefore, let us actively engage in the preservation of this valuable craft. Let us mentor, teach, and share our knowledge with enthusiasm and dedication. Let us create opportunities for others to learn and experience the profound satisfaction of mastering this ancient art. The future of craftsmanship depends on our collective commitment to preserving and passing on the skills and knowledge that have shaped our world for centuries. Let's ensure that the legacy of traditional tool sharpening continues to thrive in the years to come. So, you've journeyed through the world of 1930s tool sharpening, delving into the techniques, the history, and the enduring relevance of this essential craft. Now it's time to put your newfound knowledge into practice. Don't be intimidated by the initial learning curve. The path to mastery is paved with patience, persistence, and a willingness to learn from both successes and setbacks. Remember the rhythmic dance of the whetstone, the satisfying feedback of the steel, and the gradual refinement of the edge. Embrace the process. It's not just about sharpening tools, it's about sharpening your skills, honing your intuition, and cultivating a deeper connection to the materials you work with. The journey itself is as rewarding as the destination. Start with simple tools, practice regularly, and don't be afraid to experiment. Each stroke, each honing, each strop refines your technique and builds your confidence. Observe the subtle changes in the edge, feel the difference in the tool's performance, and appreciate the subtle nuances of your evolving skill. The improvement will be gradual but undeniably satisfying. As you progress, you'll not only develop sharper tools but also a sharper eye, a more refined touch, and a deeper understanding of the materials you work with. You'll find yourself appreciating the quality and durability of your tools in a whole new light, understanding the value of a well-maintained edge, and experiencing the pride that comes with creating something with your own hands. The rewards extend beyond the tangible results. The process of sharpening tools fosters mindfulness, patience, and precision, qualities that extend far beyond the workbench, enriching your life in countless ways. It's a meditative practice, a connection to a rich history of craftsmanship, and a celebration of the human capacity for skill and precision. The satisfaction of using a perfectly sharpened tool is unparalleled. Don't hesitate to seek out resources, connect with other enthusiasts, and continue to learn and refine your technique. The world of sharpening is vast and ever-evolving, and there's always something new to discover. Embrace the journey, celebrate your progress, and share your passion with others. Ultimately, mastering the art of 1930s tool sharpening is a testament to your dedication, your patience, and your commitment to craftsmanship. It's a skill that will serve you well throughout your life, whether you're a seasoned craftsman or a curious beginner. So, gather your tools, choose your whetstones, and begin your journey towards a sharper future. The rewards await.